You came all the way out here for one letter.
Might be important.
Well, I'm sure Felicity could have handled it.
Yeah. Should have thought of that. I also happened to hear that Gabe left.
Right. So Tane had to run straight to you and blab, did he?
Yeah, Mackenzie, I'm so
No,
sorry.
John, before you start, I don't want to talk about Gabe, so please, just...
Okay, I'm not here to make you talk about Gabe. I'm not here to make you talk about anybody. Just thought you might like a little scintillating company. Well, it must be lonely living out here on your own, especially with your brother in Queensland. Hey, have you spoken to him lately?
Yeah, a few times.
Well, next time you do, give him my regards, will you? I would have done it myself, except he and Ziggy just took off. Honestly, doesn't anybody say goodbye anymore.
No, it doesn't seem to be the thing to do these days.
Well, seeing as I've come all this way, how about a cup of tea?
Oh. Fine.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
How are we doing, Sophie?
Hello. Oh, good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad, thank you. Another week under your belt.
I know. Another week. A good week, actually. Lovely weather and, yeah, a bit less stressful than last week. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather makes all the difference, doesn't it? Makes
Yeah.
all the difference. Now, have you got a few, last week's podcast was a little bit sort of opinionated and quite strong response for the pair of us at times. How's this week been for you on the whole?
My blood pressure's come down, definitely. Yeah, I've not been ranting at the TV this week, I'll be honest. I've just been watching the drama unfold. A little bit cross with the whole Justin thing, but only because he's been a douchebag.
Well,
how about you?
I've got mainly the Justin thing. Okay, we'll get to it. You'll see. How there's some things I wasn't very happy with.
Oh, okay.
In fact, there was one thing I was absolutely fuming about.
Oh, okay. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. So we'll get on to it, of course. Do you want your headlines?
I do.
It's the return of the Mac. Well,
Yay!
2 days ago. She isn't thrilled at Felicity's news, though, is she?
No.
After a mistake with her order, Marilyn gets to selling her stunningly organic products.
Mm-hmm.
Cash gets jealous of Remy and Eden's friendship. And Brie and Remy reignite the flame.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
So we'll begin with Marley, Rose, and their failure to make amends because we can skim over it nice and quick.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yes.
They're not seeing things the same way. She tries to speak to him again, doesn't she? And he's still having his little chat with Irene that we enjoyed last week. We liked it that he went to her. He's still speaking to her and says things. He's saying, I guess just wasn't meant to be. Things like that. And Irene's like, and we're all just like, no, yeah, we're quite fine with that. This is sort of over before it's begun. I'm a little bit, why is this all being very serious when coin a phrase ridden in a caravan again? I know we keep banging out about that. But it wasn't, I didn't understand their relationship to be that serious. It's been a hot minute since it began. For me, it's quite, am I just old fashioned? It's quite common for new relationships like that to maybe fizzle out when you first start dating someone. It happens, doesn't it?
It does.
Why the drama?
I don't know. Do you think they're both quite serious, uptight people?
Yeah, not
and
much
maybe
fun.
that's not helping their situation, because not either of them's backing down. Not either of them is sort of saying, "Oh yeah, I see your point of view." They're both like, "I'm right. No, I'm right," and they're both a bit stubborn, aren't they? I don't know whether it's just a
Yeah,
clash of personalities, and maybe, outside of the bedroom things aren't as
yeah, yeah.
harmonious, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously I'm a bit you might be right, and I'm a bit cross with Marley and the sort of the way he's actually been, to be honest with you. You should have let her deal with it her way. I remember last week I was saying that wasn't my initial reaction, but I was sort of won over to that way of thinking. You thought that as well.
Yeah.
You thought it was quite a natural response for a policewoman, someone in her line of work, to want to just catch the guy. Xander was sedated anyway, yada, yada, yada. Well, he's not now, is he? He's awake now. He's up and out of bed, dressed. She's gone over there with food and whatnot, and he can see it on her face right away, can't he? Things aren't good with Marley. When he's mentioned, she's shut down, change the subject. So it's gonna be quite obvious that they're not talking, not getting on. And at this stage, I'm quite happy with them just to part ways. It's quite natural. I don't know about you. I'm not really. Nothing much has happened between them that's making me invest in wanting a reconciliation there at this stage. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't necessarily think they're the best suited couple. I think they're just the only two single people in the Bay that haven't hooked up yet, and that's where we are.
You're probably right. And Xander himself now, he's going to need quite a bit of attention from Rose by the looks of things. He's getting the old flashbacks, isn't he? He's got, Jamie's death now. Do you remember when this was first rused on First Look a few weeks back, that this was going to be happening, and your first reaction was, "Oh, Xander doesn't do this stuff very well, does he?"
No, doesn't cope.
And and obviously straight away, very early signs are that he's really worried about attending the funeral of his colleague. He's got this sort of post-traumatic flashback thing happening now, as we've seen. A bit worried about where that's going to go. What do you think is going to happen here? Do you think we're heading for tattoo? Is that a bit shallow of us to think that? Do you think this is going to run a bit deeper and open up old wounds?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last ones, he didn't really know that well, did he? So some of the people that he's got these tattoos for in the past, that like these tribute tattoos, have been patients that he might have known only for a day. So the fact that this is a colleague, and the fact that he's probably got this survivor's guilt because he keeps saying, Jamie had a family. Why him? Why not me? Why am I still here? And everyone's saying to him, like, "It's good that you're here. I'm glad you're still here. Glad we still got you." And his face, every time someone says that, he doesn't look happy. He looks guilty. I've got a feeling that this is going to be worse than what he's been through in the past. I mean, what he's been through in the past is awful, because remember that scene where, I can't remember, was it the girl that died? That got hit by the car or something, or was in a car accident.
Yeah.
And she died, didn't she? And then he went home and he like punched the wall, and he was like getting really stressed, had that angry music on, and he was like getting really upset. And then he went and got the tattoos. That was for someone he didn't know. So what is his reaction going to be for Jamie, who is his colleague and his friend, and obviously gets on with? I think we're going to see something worse, but I don't know what it could be.
Yeah, you're right, actually, and you raise a very, very valid point. He's closer to this person than any of the ones we've seen before. And yeah, does that mean we're going to have a different experience and a different response from him? It certainly seems, especially has mixed in with all this, he's been attacked himself.
Yes.
And he's had a major operation himself. I think we'll have mixed in with this some PTSD and all that. So, and I said it before, he's a sensitive soul, isn't he, Xander? What we know so far. It's quite funny. My other half was saying, watching this last week. Gosh, he's got a storyline, and all he has to do is lie there. Well, okay.
True. Yeah. Good point. I mean, you've been saying, I've heard you say this a few times, like you just said, Xander's very sensitive. He takes things quite, to heart when this stuff happens. He doesn't cope well in these situations. And you've said maybe paramedic career is not the one for him, and he's probably not suited to the job. I mean, is that where we're going to go with this? Are you right that he's going to take stock now and maybe think, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't think I want to put myself through these situations anymore. And it's inevitable in my job, isn't it? So,
and yeah, we said that quite early on, actually, didn't we? You know,
would you feel safe if you ended up getting beaten up and your colleague died just going to work? Would you feel safe in your job? Would you want to do that job anymore? I don't know. I don't think I would.
Yeah. Regardless of what the job is, no, I don't think I would either. So yeah, I would not be surprised if that's where we're headed. But I think along the way we're going to go around a whole mental health stuff as well as physical health recovery for Xander there, and I hope he can pull through it personally, because you know I don't want to see him down in the dumps, and that's all we really know about him, isn't it? You know, obviously other than sort of the backstory that he shares with Rose, we don't know anything else about his personality. His dating adventures were short-lived. Like, what else was it? You know what I mean? So if he does end up thinking he can't go back to work, what's his story then? Where's he going then? What will his life take on then? It could open up a lot for the character, actually, and we'll develop, to develop him a bit.
I wonder whether that's why we're getting this Marley bromance. Maybe he ends up, working at the surfboard shop with Marley or something. I don't know.
Could do, yeah. And he's surfing with him, surfing lessons. Yeah, could be. Could be, yeah. We'll put a pic. Well, we'll have to remember this, if it happens.
We'll
be like, oh, yeah. No. We're like, this is new information. Yeah. Well, Irene comes to the hospital on one of her many visits and packs Rose off to go and sort things out with Marley, like she does, because obviously Marley's been leaning on her elsewhere while all this is happening, and she bumps into him, doesn't she, Rose, at the diner, and they sort of have this truce, a calling of a truce. Let's be friendly, don't they? And they sort of off they go their separate ways. I'm hoping it stays that way, because I didn't think that really didn't work for me, if I'm being honest. And I think everyone's got out of that sort of quite unscathed. But, nothing too disastrous has gone on, other than we've started dating and now we're not.
Yeah, there's no L bombs dropped yet, is there? It's not got that serious. So, yeah.
I'm happy with it staying like that, if that's the way it is.
Fizzle. Yeah. Fizzle out.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, we'll find that. Salt's liquor license is up for renewal by 5 p.m. that day. Like, okay.
Kind of important, this, isn't it? Kind of key date to the business that you'd have in your diary, and a reminder a week before or a month before.
Yeah, you'd know that was coming and needed to be organised.
Thank God they're both not got. Imagine if this was when she was on a honeymoon and Mac was God knows where. This could have been last week. This would have been a disaster. So
yeah. People would be bringing their tinnies with them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they bring your own?
Orange juice doll. Orange juice and a lemonade. Yeah, that's what we've got. Oh dear.
I did like, though, that one of the options when Tanya and Felicity, because at this point they don't know Mac's back, and they're sort of brainstorming what they're going to do about it, because she's been on the phone to whomever about trying to get an extension and they can't. And one of the brainstorms were, well, we could just carry on and risk jail, risk getting everything revoked and fined.
She's like,
and God knows what.
I just forged the signature, and then Tanya was like, yeah, and I'll just come and visit you in prison. Oh dear, not good.
Now, Marley is back at the farmhouse, isn't he? He's retreated to the farmhouse for some peace and quiet away from Rose, I think, to go and think about what he's done.
Alf's given him homework to do, hasn't he? Because he's like, get your proposal to me, Marley. I need it by the end of today. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I've done that.
That's right. Yeah, because he wants to rebrand and do up the board shop, doesn't he? So he's got to go back and get his proposal. And he comes home to a boiling kettle with no lid on. It's like, oh. Me like energy saving eye was twitching like.
It's so weird when you see I see this in other places, like not in the UK as well. When you see people making a brew abroad, it's like you're making it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
I didn't notice that detail. How were they doing it?
Just the kettle just looked wrong. The way that she was making the tea just looked. I was like, no, I just don't like. Oh, no, put the tea bag down. Oh dear, got my eyes twitching.
Are you a teapot kind of gal?
No, not anymore.
Straight in the mug.
Straight in the builder's tea mug. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the Coastal News mug, obviously.
I thought that was just for alcohol.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's everything. Lucasade.
A multi-purpose.
Wine. Everything. I ain't classy.
The other day, my sister-in-law was over, and she was like, she needed some hot water to like pat on her eye. Her eye swelled up with something, and she came in the room with my Coastal News mug, and I was like, no. That's
not for you.
Step away. Turn around and try again.
It's precious, isn't it? I'm so careful with mine. When I'm taking it out of the dishwasher, I'm like, do not drop this, because I'm so clumsy. You know, the other day when I had to get on the pod last week and I texted you and I was like, I'll be 5 minutes, I've just smashed a plate. Like, I'm so clumsy. So when I take it out of the dishwasher, I'm like, I hold it like it's just going to break in my hand. Oh dear.
Funny. Yeah, handle with care.
Yeah.
So the kettle's boiling. Marley's like, nobody's supposed to be here. Mac comes out of the woodwork, literally. And she's like, hey, it's me, I'm home, and I've been here 2 days. I thought, what?
Yeah. So where's Marley been staying? That's what I'm confused about, because we know Marley spent one night in the hospital, but Xander's been awake since then, so he's not been in the hospital. Where's he been sleeping? Has he been sleeping in the caravan park again? So I thought he had moved in with Mac while she was away.
Why would you be renting a van when she's give you that farm all to yourself?
I don't understand that.
It didn't. That's an oversight, that, isn't it? Because there was a full-on scene. You know, you can stay in the house while I'm gone. I need to go look after the farm, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It wasn't like an assumption that you've made. He was told to stay there.
Yeah.
So well spotted, Sophie. Well spotted. Now, he has a chat with her, doesn't he? She sort of deflects and distracts, I would say, at this point, asking him about the committee and brainstorming names for this board shop revamp that he's doing. And I'm thinking she's talking about anything and everything but what she's going through and what she ought to be talking about, really, because I think Mac's one of those to me. She's got a habit of bottling things up, you know, and that's never good, is it, in the long run?
No, definitely not. I mean, she did say a little bit, didn't she? Because we thought that she'd gone to see her mum, Tanya, in the city. And he was like, how's your mum? And she's like, I didn't go. I went to chase Gabe. I chased him all around town. I went to his restaurants. I tried to talk to his colleagues. You know, I went to all the places I could think of, his house. He wasn't at any of those places. I don't know where he is. He's like disappeared off the face of the planet, hasn't he, basically?
Yeah.
So we heard all of that. So she did open up a little bit. But yeah, we did have to talk about shelves, paint, and the name of the board shop for 5 minutes before she tried to.
Before she even got onto it. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of name of the board shops.
In the soup. What does that mean?
Is that like a turn of phrase for the sea?
It must be, yeah. I'd never heard that in my life. And then offshore boards. And she was like, no. I
didn't mind that.
Offshore boards is all right, isn't it? It doesn't really blow me away, but yeah.
What did you think about the name they settled on? Manta Ray Boards.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Mac said, it's personal to him. It's where you call it Hinky Dinkyville, but he's from Manta Ray Point, which is up the coast, apparently. Good fishing spot. Mr. Stewart loves it. So I think calling it something personal is probably a good idea. I don't know what else he would have called Marley's Boards, you know, unless you call it a name like that. I don't know.
Yeah, which would make it more sense to be personal. I hate the name. I'm just
Do
going to
you?
say it. Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely hate it. And I'll tell you why. There's a town called Monterey Point.
Yes.
So Monterey Boards would be in Monterey Point. It wouldn't be in Summer Bay.
That's
That's
true.
what. So, and for me, it's like that he's from that town, but so are thousands of other people, probably, or hundreds of other people.
50.
You know, like if it was Marley's Boards or what's Marley's surname? Do we know? If it was something about his family, then that makes sense to me. I'd be thinking about my clients if they're Googling it and then it online and it shows them Monterey Boards. I would be assuming it's in Monterey Point, and that's where I'd be wanting to go. And then when you Google it and when you put it in maps and then it comes up saying Summer Bay, you'd be like, something's wrong here. And then it probably put me off going.
How many surfboards have you purchased?
I'm thinking, me, just an inflatable one.
Oh dear. No, I get your point. Like it could have been Summer Bay Boards. It could have been just the board shop. I quite like Ben's Boards, the previous name, because of the alliteration of it, like Ben's Boards. That sounded good. It doesn't need to be something board or I don't know. I don't. Summer Bay Surf, because it's in the surf club, isn't it? I don't know. It could have been something else.
It just bugs me that it's different. It's like going to Manchester and seeing a shop that's like Leicester Hair. It's like,
you don't want that, trust me.
Leicester Hair and Beauty, and it's in Manchester. You would expect that to be in Leicester.
You don't want Leicester hair. You end up with hair like mine. Oh dear. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I just can't see past that. It's really bugged me. Name aside, he does convince Mac to give Flick a visit, doesn't he? So she goes to work for the first time since returning and sees Felicity right away, learns about all the drama about the liquor license that needs sorting. So hurrah, she's managed to go to work just in time for that to be sorted so we can still serve the Secco on the balcony that evening. And Felicity is all, how are you? What's going on? How's Gabe? How's this? How's that? What's life like? How's he doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I've just got married. Have a look at my ring. Blah, blah, blah. All last minute. Just had a honeymoon.
Yeah.
And she's been way full on, being very Felicity. And of course, the last thing, Mac wants to see, because she's just got her head into spending a future with Gabe again, the guy she was going to marry, who's now left her to go off and die somewhere, and she's in this hole of whatever in her mind. Last thing she wants is another couple rubbing it in her face.
Yeah.
So,
insensitive, isn't it, really? I mean, Flix just doesn't put two and two together, does she? She's just so excited. She's like a kid. Like, oh, look at this shiny thing I've got. Look at my ring. Woo!
Yeah. And in her defense, she doesn't know, does she? Do you know what I mean?
No, I know, but you do know that her boyfriend is dying,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You have to think before you speak about how someone else is going to react to that news. And her saying, "Oh, I've married the love of my life. Sorry about your boyfriend dying." It's even for Flick. I was like, "Oh, this is very, insensitive."
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you're right. She does know he's dying. So
yeah,
my husband's alive and kicking. Yeah, it was a bit strange. And she doesn't quite understand, does she? She knows something's off. She doesn't quite understand. Max sort of congratulated her and then sloped off to the cupboard where everyone drinks, cries, or...
That's so funny, that cupboard.
The action cupboard.
It's literally it's just a little cupboard, and she just went in there and just shut the door on her, didn't she? Just like, I'm in the cupboard now. Conversation over. I want one of them at work. We just go in and just go, I'm just going to shut the door on you and get in this cupboard, and that means you have to go away.
Yeah. That cupboard's seen it all. Drugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Crying. Sex.
Oh, God,
you name it. Yeah. Seen it all, that cupboard.
Ryder's panic attack. Ryder had a panic attack in there, didn't he, about being buried alive? So.
If walls could talk. Now, Felicity's doing this whole back to Tane. Something's wrong. Something's Mac's being weird with me. She's not talking to me. So Tane sort of takes the baton, doesn't he, and says, "I'll do it. I'll go and speak to her." And he's like, so he goes over. How's Gabe anyway? When he goes over to speak to her.
Is he here?
So then she comes out. Is he in the bath? Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's left me. Now you've got your answer. Just rack off. I don't need your pity. She's very self-wallowing, and you let her have it. Do you know what I mean? I say, let her do it. And you can sort of understand that she needs that time to feel sorry for herself. Actually, you know what I mean? She feels helpless, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? Do you think she's right to be feeling this way? Do you think she should just dust herself off? Be the confident Mackenzie?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because I'd like her to just dust herself off and say F him and I'm getting on with my life and I don't need no man and all that sort of stuff. But that's very easy for me to say. I'm not going through that. I can imagine it'd be awful, and I don't know how I'd actually react in that situation. So she's got every right to be upset,
Yeah, I concur. I agree.
Yeah.
Now, it's what happens next that really melted, I think, both our hearts, judging by the message I got off you.
Yes.
Tanya and Felicity have reluctantly told John. John sort of got it out of her.
He's like, if I'm going to put my feet in my mouth, I need to have a heads up. I was like, yeah, you do need to tell him, because the first thing he's going to be doing is, hey, where's Gabe? How are you?
I did like it though. That was only after yet another dig about not being invited to the wedding.
Yeah. True.
And so John then takes upon it after learning, what's happening and that Gabe's gone. And this is why John's come a long way, and this is why I say to you all the time, John is one of our favourites. He drives all the way out to the farm just to call in and just see how she is and make sure she's good. And he didn't have to, did he? Do you know what I mean? And for all the things he can be, John, a bit of a nightmare, he'll be there when you need him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what? I read about this online before we saw it. I didn't know what the contents of the scene were, but I read an interview with Emily where she said that her and Shane in real life are really good pals and they get on really well.
Right.
But they don't have that many scenes together. And then she said, but Shane's working on us getting some more scenes. He's in the writer's ear, basically, what she kind of alluded to, trying to get Mac and John to have more scenes together, because she said the chemistry between us on screen is so good because we're such good friends in real life. And I think that came across in these scenes, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was palpable, I thought, actually. The fact that it grappled us, didn't it, right away? This scene. Okay, that makes sense. And it was oozing off the screen, actually.
It was good.
Effortless. And he goes up there and she's like, I hope you're not here to make me talk to you about Gabe. And he's like, no, I do know, but I just thought you might like some company. And I thought, sure. He has a bit of a dig about Dean leaving.
But that's the line that nearly made me cry. When I texted you and I was like, I nearly cried with that John scene, because he said something like, does nobody say goodbye anymore? And I was like, because he's talking about himself, but he's also talking about her and the fact that Gabe's left her without, a proper goodbye. And she's not going to get the goodbye, because he's going to die. She's not going to get to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just John being miffed about, Zine, Diggy and I can't say their names anymore. Dean and Ziggy. Ziggy and Zine. Oh God, what's the plot? It wasn't just him having a dig, was it? It was him saying, I get it, you're not going to get to say goodbye to him, and I know how that feels when someone that you care about just leaves. So,
yeah. Still reminding us he's still hurting about Dean just upping and going.
Yeah.
The mongrel.
Tell your brother next time you talk to
him. What this does do though is, because I think that vulnerability is shown her there briefly, and means that she opens up to him. Now, and I really loved this. I mean, she was saying, wasn't she? I'm angry, John. I'm so angry. History is repeating itself. It's happening all over again, And without me, he would have given up on the treatment. And so he's out there dying somewhere. And I thought, let it all out, sister. Come on. You're right. But get it off your chest. You'll feel miles better.
I felt better hearing her say
that.
We've been here because we were like, how is she going through this? How are we here again? Like, why did she go back to him after last time? He broke up with her and he left her before the wedding, left her a note, took 50 grand off her dad and buggered off. We were like, why on earth was she giving him a second chance? So the fact that she was saying it herself, God, I'm an idiot. Why did I do this? I was like, yeah, okay, thank you, because you've acknowledged that elephant in the room that we've been saying for ages.
Yeah.
Why would you give this guy a second chance?
Yeah, we needed to know that she acknowledges that, didn't we, I think?
Yeah.
And then she leaves that voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
You win, I'll move on, but I love you.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah. On the whole, then, this storyline, because we're probably drawing a line in the sand here, okay? But on the whole, thoughts on it, I just felt like the whole thing was a bit random, personally.
Yeah.
And if he was going to come back, I mean, obviously, I thought he was a con man most of it. But if he was going to come back, why do that? Why just for that reason? And then it all just be a waste of time anyway. Mac's so tragic, isn't she? We were talking the other week about, is it because she's so good, Emily, at doing this stuff? I don't know. To me, it's probably a story I could have done without when I reflect on it.
I think you know how I feel about this. I've been saying it for weeks. We didn't need Gabe. We didn't need him. I didn't need him. We didn't need him. We didn't need to see him. I think you're right. I think they're giving this story to Emily because they needed a story for her and they had to bring in someone else to execute that story. She's really good at these crying, being upset scenes. So they've made the most of that. I hope that if anything good comes out of this storyline, that when he does die, he leaves her some money. He leaves her the businesses or some money to get out of her debt, hole that she's in. That 50K. I know he offered her the 50K when he came to the Bay, and he was like, "Here's that." He gave her a check, didn't he? Here's the 50K that your dad gave me. Something like that, just to make amends. Because what he should have done, because I was thinking about what would I have preferred him to do when her dad offered him that money back then. What he should have done was take it and then go and get married to her, and they take the money and start a life together with it, and say F you to the dad, because the dad's not going to miss that money. He's loaded.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. He should have took the money and started his life with Mac, and I think that's why I'm so annoyed with him, that he took the money and ran away.
Yeah, and then wasted all that time.
Yeah.
And only decided to apologise when he only had weeks to go.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that, did he? Technically,
no, but he still could have resolved it a lot sooner with Mackenzie.
Absolutely, yeah.
4 years is a long time to decide to go and apologise and give her the money back.
Yeah.
Very, very odd to me. Just came to complete left field.
We didn't need it.
No. Now, John was also dishing out nice, wise words to Marilyn this week, telling her not to put pressure on herself about paying for this wedding. And he's got wind of her business idea. She signed up, if you remember last week, to this stunning organics product pyramid thing. And she's going to be hounding all her Facebook friends to purchase it. And he's trying to say to her, look, a third of businesses go belly up. I've told Jet the money's from both of us. Don't overstretch yourself. And she's insistent that she wants to do it for her son. And we were saying where this is coming from her sort of insecurity about not really knowing the wife to be feeling a bit sort of, she's had a lot going on. You know what I mean? Jet's probably hasn't been the forefront. She's been focusing on Heather, hasn't she, the last few months and all that shebang. So she's insistent. So Irene has to diffuse it, actually, because John's trying to be quite persuasive about it. So Irene diffuses it, tells John to clear off. What was the words, actually? It was
chuff off.
That was it.
That's in my dictionary now. I've written that down. Chuff off, doll.
That's daytime soap opera speak.
Love it. I've never heard her say that before. I've actually got an audio clip of that scene because I loved it. Oh dear.
Chuff it. She checks in with Marilyn then, doesn't she, when he's out the way, And she's like, no, it's great. The video that Kirby did with me last week's got 800 views. I've had loads of inquiries. It's going to be good. It's going to be well good. I'm going to sell it all and I'm going to have the money and it's going to be fantastic. Great. Off you go then. So it's all getting delivered to the diner, which we've not found out if she's happy about that yet. But 9 boxes turn up instead of 3. So there's already been a mistake here. So she's got absolutely heaps of this stuff piled high in the diner kitchen. Health and safety aren't around at that time. And there was a really funny moment because Rue's there when it's there, and when she's out of the way, Kirby's like, "Oh, why didn't you say?" Because she's making out that 9 is correct, wasn't it? She's like, "Oh," she's panicking. Then as soon as Rue's out of earshot, how am I going to sell all this stuff? She's like, "Well, I thought you just said." Well, I can't tell her.
Yeah, because she'll throw it in my face.
Referring to Rue, and that made me laugh because she absolutely would, wouldn't she?
Absolutely, yeah. Rue would have said exactly what Marilyn said, that she's in over her head, and she said I can't tell her because she'll say that to me, and she's right. She would have.
It was the way she just delivered that. Well, I can't tell her.
Judgy Ruru. We had Snoopy Ruru. Now we've got Judgy Ruru. Oh dear.
And she's flapping because Stunning Organics won't take it back. She's ordered it, but they will correct it going forward. Should be 3 a week. Now she's starting off week 1 with 9. She's got to get them all sold before the next 3 rock up. And she's ended up in this proper tears, hasn't she? So poor Kirby's ended up lumbered helping her out. Doing you need more online content. You need to do some demonstrations. So, she's giving her all these that because Marilyn is coming across as just clueless about where to even begin. And I would have thought part of her history with the whole hair and beauty thing, she would know a bit more about this industry than she does.
Yeah, but this is very Marilyn, isn't it? She just kind of, she has a half-baked idea and runs with it sometimes, and she doesn't really think things through, I don't think. I mean, even when Kirby turned up to the diner to help her, she just handed her 2 bottles, didn't tell her the price, didn't tell what they were, how to use them, just go and sell them, darling. Good. You're the face of Stunning Organics. I was like, this is your business.
Just tell them you use it.
She isn't very good at the detail, is she? This is why Rue does take over a lot of the time. When they're planning the golf tournament, and it was Marilyn's idea, and she started it, but Rue took over because Rue's good at the details and the planning and the organising. Marilyn's not very good at that. It's not in her wheelhouse, is it, to do that?
Yeah, well, I was about to say, because the next point on my notes here is Kirby's doing all the work.
She is. Yeah. And she's
this spa thing. This spa thing they've set up on in the diner, which Irene seems to have missed. She's going to go ballistic if this is all going on every day. They're hassling all the customers and giving away free coffee without. Irene will be fine with it. Like, okay.
Yeah, Kirby was like, "You've checked with Irene, haven't you?" She's like, "Well, why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she love it?" I was like, "Oh, that's a no. That's a no." Oh no, disaster.
It has got. She's walking into the face of it, isn't she? Straight for a disaster. And she made 1 sale or something. It's a lot of hard work, isn't it? A lot of work for a little return. And Kirby's doing all the online stuff because she's clueless about that as well. So Kirby's doing all these lives, and she's just sort of grinning in the background. God.
Holding up a coffee, free coffee.
It is funny though. It's quite nice and light. Because, like you say, we've got Marley and Rose. We said they're quite intense and serious. We've got the whole thing with Mac and the cancer stuff going on. So it's quite nice. Yeah, we've got John's really quite down. It's quite nice to have this light again, this balance that we often talk about.
Yeah.
And Marilyn's great for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
As long as it stays light. It's early doors, yeah.
I've got a bad feeling, but we'll see.
Yeah. I just my heart will break if Marilyn feels like she's let Jet down. Doesn't get the money together. And she is pressurizing herself, and it'll probably be cheaper to go and try and get a loan from the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I just think
much easier ways.
trying to come up with 50% of the money, which is what she's kind of told John, we'll go 50-50. I just think she's setting a target that's way too high for herself. And if she'd set a lower target and then met that, she would have felt a lot better about herself, wouldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, we say that, but I'm sort of thinking, what else does she spend the money on?
How much money does she make?
Yeah, but she's working. She doesn't own a house. She's just sort of lodging with friends.
I don't know whether she makes a lot of money, but she has a lot of dresses, scarves, accessories. Her hair and makeup's always perfect. A lot of money goes into looking amazing, I'd imagine. I don't know.
So I just don't buy that her money issues are. I mean, weddings are expensive. Don't get me wrong. You can't just pay for one when someone announces it, can you?
No. If she had loads of money, wouldn't she have her own house and stuff as well? I don't know.
That's true. Maybe is Alf charging her a lot for that room?
I don't know.
It's paying for Alf's fuel back and forth from Merimbula.
Oh, that's all right. He only goes once a year now, apparently. Oh dear. Forgot all about Martha, his wife, wasn't he? Thank God. Kidney bitch.
Right, Cash and Eden, they're back from their weekend away, all loved up, and they're catching up with Flake, letting them know how it's all going on, how it was in the city. You need to go to all these wineries and eateries and God knows what that they have in the city. And as soon as Remy clocks them, he sort of rips Eden from Cash's clutches, really, to go and spend the day drinking beer and strumming on the guitar just after she made plans with Cash to spend the day with him, literally just after. So you saw written all over Cash's face. He was a bit sort of put out by that, wasn't he? A bit let down by it. And he spent all day sat across the road at Casa Parata stewing on it.
Watching police chase videos. Did you hear the background noise?
Yeah.
Oh dear. I was watching police, car
camera
alert.
Action.
Yeah.
Well, he's a copper. That makes sense.
I know. Never switches off.
That's his hobby. That's his hobby.
Oh dear.
Is all you watch is the IT Crowd?
Well, there was a time when that was on a lot in the house. Yeah, The Big Bang Theory, anything geeky. True. Yeah.
Now he started messaging her, and she hasn't seen her phone. Easily done. Right? She's having a chat with a friend. Nothing wrong with that, I didn't think at this point.
His message was cold. His message was, "Hey there. You let me know when you're free." I was like, no kisses, not hi babe, not like nothing, no nickname. It was just, "Hey there." I was like, that's not a message you send your girlfriend.
I think that's how my gas bill addresses me.
Hey there. Yeah, I talk nicer to the mailman than that message. Not sure.
You did send me that. You were like, what is this text? I've sent kinder to my exes.
I've been nicer to my exes than that, and I've whatever. Yeah,
I always like to look at those and check the time and things to see if it makes sense. Sometimes, you see yeah, but it was supposed to be evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it said 3:47. It said 3:47 as in the morning as well, unless he's got the old 12-hour clock on. But it should have been like, what's 15:47, shouldn't it?
Well, yeah, my phone's 12-hour clock. I think
is it?
The 24-hour clock is just a Brit thing,
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, everywhere else it's like 12 hours. But that still doesn't make sense. She'd been there all day. It was nighttime. It was evening.
It was probably dinner time. Yeah.
Well, it weren't 4 o'clock in the morning, was it?
No.
Or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So he's gone over and he sort of does this sort of pause outside, eavesdropping her talking about him. And he sort of likes what he hears to begin with, doesn't he? He's sort of smiling about it. And, I'm like, oh, she does like me. Oh, she really does like me. She's not gone off with Remy. And he just sort of then just opens the fly screen, goes in, and they're in the middle, mid-tickle.
Tickle fight.
She's sat on his lap and the mid-tickle fight. Like, I'm laughing because I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth.
I know. How old are they? It's so funny. I was laughing as well because just before he walked in, like he was looking at a bracelet, wasn't he? And like he was taking the mickey out of it and going, "Oh, what's he going to get you next? A pony, princess?" You know? And I thought that was really funny, like the ribbon that your mates do that, don't they? But but the tickle fight, I don't know when the last time I had a tickle fight was.
With one of your adult friends.
No. I wouldn't mind a tickle fight with Remy, but it was a bit strange.
Very strange, and he's very uncomfortable about it. His old Cash.
Well, she was sat on his knee. Dear.
And he's not happy about his girlfriend being like this to with another fella, basically. Now, he does voice that to Eden privately, and I thought he's best off telling her telling her how he feels, other than sitting on it and trying to pretend it doesn't affect him, and then in the end he'll end up resenting their friendship. So he's better. I was quite glad he just told her privately, because I thought he's better off just letting her know how he is truthfully. And do you know what? Maybe she could then give him some reassurances that he needs to hear. Do you know what I mean?
Like an adult relationship.
Yeah. So actually what happens is she then speaks to Remy and says, look, he's not cool with us, can we just dial it back a bit? And she actually asks him to go and speak to him about it and sort it out, doesn't she? She says, you need to go and have a chat with him, and I need you to be friends, because you're very important to me. We've talked about us enjoying their relationship a lot. Yeah. And I need you both to be on the same page. And that doesn't really go down too well once the egos meet, does it?
Well, she tells Remy that Cash has got a problem with him taking the mickey out of the bracelet, doesn't she? Because that's what obviously Cash has told. Cash at this point hasn't said, I've got a problem with how you interact with Remy and how close you are. She thinks he heard the conversation about him going, "Oh, the bracelet, ooh."
Oh, I've made an assumption there, thinking it was the bracelet amongst other things.
Oh no, I don't think it was that, because Remy went round there and he said, I heard, Eden tells me you heard what I was saying about the bracelet, and then Cash said, I don't care what you think about the bracelet. And at that point Remy goes, oh, I knew you wouldn't, like I knew it wasn't a problem. And then Cash says, well, no, my problem actually is not about the bracelet, it's about the fact that my girlfriend was sat in your lap when I walked in the door. And then Remy's like, oh, that's your problem, okay.
And he asks him to pull it back on the physicality. He just hits the roof.
So
who do you think you are?
Yeah, I get Cash's point. I do see his point. I just think the way he's gone about it was a bit weird. It's a bit strange.
Juvenile is the word, I think.
Yeah.
So my feelings on this are, last week we were talking about what we thought initially about this, and you were saying, it's just a friendly thing. Yeah. Yes, they're dead close and they're touchy-feely and they hop in bed and things, and you were like, but that's just, I never see anything other than that. And I was, I was in agreement with that, and if everyone is comfortable with that, perfect, right?
Yeah.
This week I thought Remy was a bit out of order. In the way he dealt with it. I'm sort of giving Cash a pass here, because it is a bit awkward, that them two have been friends for so many years. He's the new kid on the block. I mean, I know obviously they've got a brief history in the past, haven't they? But this whole them being happy, seriously settling down is new, and he's already a bit of an outsider. There's been a few scenes where the band are all being abandoned, he's sort of takes himself off to bed, and and he's been told to sit across the road on his own while they have beers and catch up, when he could have just been there as well. Do you know things like that? So he's already feeling a bit sort of sidelined. This is me sort of filling in, reading between the lines. He's already feeling a bit sidelined. So I think Remy should have been a bit more sensitive and sort of said, look, when he learns that it's that, oh right, it's that, oh, I am sorry, it's the way we've always been, because we've never really been in this situation where we're both coupled up and happy. I understand how that must look, and obviously we're really close friends, we're really tight. I'll be mindful of that. I thought that's what he should have said. And he's not so much agreeing to distance himself from Eden or anything like that, or you're coming between our great friendship. He's just sort of saying, oh, do you know what, I'll be mindful of your feelings, because I completely understand that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he should have. I think he just took him by surprise, didn't it? I think he was just like, oh, stop messing around with my girlfriend. I think Remy was like, I think because they do know each other, like, we're supposed to believe that Cash knew these guys years ago before they all came to the Bay, and he's obviously seen them interacting for years. So I think Remy was kind of like shocked that Cash had got a problem with it, probably thinking, but we're like this, and there's nothing in it, and I don't get why you're so upset about it. I don't think it was until Eden spoke to him later on and said, how would Bree feel? And he's like, oh, I don't know. We'd have to ask her. And then he was starting to think, okay, maybe this isn't okay. Maybe, it's okay for him to be uncomfortable. And luckily we had that conversation, didn't we? Where I think Remy had invited Bree around and said, Eden's not there tonight. She's going to go and stay at Cash's house. So we've got the place to ourselves. Yeah, exactly. And then Bree was like, yeah, but Eden's not going to be there. And like, he's like, no, she's not going to be there. Like she was checking that, if she comes around to Remy's house, that Eden's not going to be there. So that opened up that conversation for him to say, hang on a minute, are you uncomfortable around Eden? And like, he was actually really good then, because I think he realised at that point, okay, I can see Cash's point of view now, because now Bree's bringing it up that she feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, he had to run it by her, didn't he? Okay, maybe I've been a bit. Yeah, he does check himself, doesn't he? At that point,
I think it took him out. I think he just thought, well, that's what he probably just, Remy. He doesn't overanalyze a lot of things, and I think he probably just thought, dude, we're like this. Get over yourself. Initially. And then it wasn't till later on where he was like, actually, maybe it's not cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd hopefully he may, I don't want that to be an ongoing, because I want Cash and Eden, I'm into it. I don't want that to be an ongoing sort of elephant in the room.
No. And I don't want to lose that Eden-Remy relationship either, because I don't want them to drift apart, because I really like their friendship. I don't need to see a tickle fight, like, whatever. I don't need that, but I need that friendship. So
let's hope they can all work it out. What do you think about, because obviously that bit where you're talking about where he and Bree sort of, and he asks Bree and they're spending time together, and then they have this kiss, don't they? And she sort of cools it off immediately and freaks out, and then she sees Tanya and Felicity happy and doing coupley things, and then she bails on breakfast, and it's only after a sort of walk and talk with her new pal Rose. They've got quite a good sort of friendship as well, when we talk about friendships on the show. I think the friendships on the show are dead strong at the moment. And then it's only after that she gets the confidence to sort of go places with Remy again, isn't it? What did you make of that? Are you into that? I mean, I sort of summarize it there in a few sentences, because it wasn't really a major part of the week, but were you happy to see that? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was actually, because it wasn't that long ago, when we were having that Bree trying to avoid Remy situation, and like the whole thing, I slept with Jacob and I can't tell him and all that stuff, and then she got pregnant and she's pushing him away. I was getting really fed up at that point. And I think I said to you on here, I don't care now. I don't care whether they get together, whether they break up or whatever. And I'm done. I'm over it. And actually this week I was like getting invested again. I'm not fully there yet, because I'm not fully trusting that she's not going to change her mind, I'll be honest. But seeing them get closer and seeing him be really gentle with her, and their dynamic, and that, I really like the way they are together this week. So I'm back on board. I think
she loves him.
She did drop the L word. Yes. What did you think? Because I know you weren't as off the boil with it as I was, I think. So you probably found it easier.
Yeah, I'm happier that everything's out in the open now. Like I was, my stumbling block was this ridiculous secret about her feeling like she cheated on him with her actual husband, and that was the reason why they couldn't really progress. Other than obviously her needing to overcome the fact that she murdered somebody as she was about to be buried. You know, for me, that was a bit of a weak reason to not be honest with Remy, and Remy was sort of left in the dark and going spiraling because of it, you know, not knowing, and that was frustrating a bit. So now it's all out in the open. I'm pleased that the water's flowing again and things are moving along, because I think they've had enough time in limbo for me now. So yeah, I'm happy to see it.
Good. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on them then, won't we?
I just hope, you know, the what could have been conversation isn't too painful, you know, with regards to Bambino there. Justin's court dates come up, and he just wants it over and done with. Theo's got to testify, and it turns out the lawyer's running through it all the details with him the night before, isn't he? Theo's testimony is going to be very, very crucial to anything, any sort of leaner sentence here. And that puts a bit of pressure on old Theo there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Just basically been told that everything, you know, Justin's life, whether he's going to be in prison or not, is hanging on whatever Theo says in this courtroom now. I was like, that's a lot of pressure to put on Theo. Yeah. He's only 21 or whatever, isn't he? It's not.
I'd definitely be messing up that.
I would. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Like the last time he has been to court before, but the last time he was in court, it was for him because he was doing the joyriding and God knows what in the Polaris. So he's been there before, but I don't think he's ever been, you know, questioned as badly as the prosecutor's going to go at him. So I'd be terrified.
I know, and it's somebody else's future at stake, not your own. If you in the past, if he messed it up, at the end of the day, it'd be
his life. Yeah,
it's somebody else here, isn't it? Now, Justin's not happy with this plan. He's not able to testify himself. The lawyer doesn't want it.
Because he's Justin's an animal. he's a bloody feral animal. He can't let him go in the court and be like, yeah, well, I did it because this. It would be a disaster.
Yeah, it would. He's like, and that's why I don't want it. He tests him, doesn't he? Like, that's why. So we skip forward to the next morning. Oh, everyone's very tense. They're on tenterhooks. We're all congregating outside this beautiful courthouse, I must say. Very nice location. No one's going in. It's one in, one out. I found a bit frustrating because last week I was like, "Oh, we're getting a court drama." No, we're just going to stand about outside. A bit let down by that, I was.
Yeah, it did look beautiful, but I would have liked to have seen some of the, you know, just because Leah can't see it doesn't mean we can't.
I know. And Rue's hanging around like an eggy fart. What is she doing there?
That's true. I guess she feels responsible in a way, doesn't she? Because of the Ava stuff. She got too involved with that, didn't she? And probably escalated it a bit.
We find out a little bit later on in the next episode, I think it was, why her reason for being there was actually quite important, because she ends up drafting Mr. Stewart in. But basically, Theo goes in. He's panicking about going in to do his testimony. He goes in. None of what he'd prepped had come up. He come out feeling rotten. It didn't go well at all. The prosecution went in for it, and it's not looking good for Justin at this stage. And everyone's in a bit of a tiz. It's sounding like the lawyer's going to reluctantly have to let Justin take the stand. And Justin is insisting it happens. Actually, I want to do this, and the fate's in my hand. What was the words he used?
I can't remember. I know what you mean.
I've written it down. So, I want to risk it. He says, all because basically the prosecution basically said everything we said last week and the week before. You know, Justin knew that Ava had a pattern of behaviour. Justin should have known that she was lying, or should have at least queried it, all the stuff that basically we said last week would have Justin bang to rights. So he wants to go in himself and try and plead it. They decide he needs a character witness, and that's when old Rue there, that's why she's there, gets on the blower, and Mr. Stewart, inbound, comes over to provide one. Now, this is what I am furious at.
Oh, okay, because last week you were saying, why is everyone in the Bay treating Justin, like normal? He's beaten someone to a pulp. He should be getting some repercussions from that. People should be saying, you're a galah. Yeah. It's not cool, So is it the fact that Mr. Stewart ran to defend him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's beaten somebody up, hospitalised them, and Mr. Stewart is happy to go down and say what a nice bloke he is. Absolutely fuming.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not that Mr. Stewart's a moral man.
He is, but maybe on the balance of probability, Mr. Stewart's decided this is a one-off. I don't know.
Bad men with bad temper stick together. No, it's not only that though. I was just festering this whole episode watching it because Irene's offering to make his favourite burger when he gets back.
Yeah.
Why is everyone? He's done wrong.
In real life, I think people would sort of shun him a bit, wouldn't they? If you'd done this, if you were up on assault charges, people would drop you like a hot potato. They'd be like, I don't want to be associated with you because that's really bad. So it doesn't make sense, but I guess the outcome of the story, it had to go this way, didn't it?
I think Doc should be there. He's lost access to Ava. Coastal News, it should be front page. He's garage owner, beats up somebody, loses his his business goes down the path, which isn't, we don't know how that's even open anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there should be a lot of town and communities like that that are looking after one of their own, even if they've done wrong. I don't agree with it at all. I was absolutely boiling at this.
I can just imagine you. Oh dear. Yeah. No, I can see your point of view. I can totally see your point of view. I think you're right. He has got away with it, really. Even though he hasn't got away with it, he has.
Because court gets adjourned, doesn't it? Overnight deliberations, a long night ahead, and everyone's sort of pandering around to him. Leah's having a moment in the bed. This was a nice scene, Leah in the bedroom, and Theo comes in to check on her, and he sort of says, if whatever happens tomorrow, I'll be there for you. Thinking, well, Justin should not be there tomorrow if I have my way.
No. Isn't it mad how much we love Theo now?
I know.
He's so sensible and so grown up and so lovely. And this time last year we were like, he's an idiot. We hate him. It's so funny.
They've done a number on us at the writers with him.
I know.
He's gone on the arc, hasn't he? He's one of those. He's gone on the arc. He's gone on the arc. He's beefed up as well. I've only noticed it last few episodes, but obviously. Yeah. They're starting to get his kit off, aren't they? That's what it is. I'm thinking he has chunked up, hasn't he?
It's looking good.
Matt Evans. He doesn't look so baby-faced nowadays. He's quite big and bulky, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sentencing the next day. We digress.
Quickly.
And so he's got 500 hours of community service and enforced anger management.
He's needed that for a long time, hasn't he? Let's be honest. This is a long time coming, this anger management, if it does work.
And even then I'm annoyed because Irene's like 500 hours is a lot. I'm like,
it's not. I tried to work this out because didn't they say it's over 18 months?
Yeah.
So it's not even a day a week.
I know, we're not going to see him doing it.
No.
But I'm just annoyed that everyone was like, oh, that's harsh. I'm like, oh, the poor, what about if it was your precious little son in hospital there getting beaten up? Would you think 500 hours community service is harsh then?
No, you wouldn't.
I'm getting way too into this.
You think he got let off? If it was like someone in my family, you know what I mean? If it was my brother helping some chick out that, lied to him, he did nothing wrong. He went off for a surf while she was lying in the back of his van. Nothing happened. And Justin beat him to a pulp. I'd be livid. that he got off with 500 hours and a tap on the back, and it's just
I'd be appealing and all sorts.
Yeah.
And then he does this whole "woe is me, I promise Leah that I will change. My rehab starts now, right after I've had this lovely burger." I'm like, oh, piss off.
He says he'll change, though. Do we believe him?
No.
Is he capable of changing, do we think?
I don't know. Until yes, until the plot requires it.
Okay, another question then. How long is he going to mention the community service and the anger management before we forget all about it, even though it's for 18 months?
Once next week. And I'm not even taking the mick. I genuinely think because it's so little, we don't need to know about it, do we?
No. Yeah.
He's gonna leave the house one day next week, like in Ivy's, like, I'm off to community service.
I'm off to pick up litter off the side of the road.
That's been done before, hasn't it? Because John used to orchestrate.
The miscreant group.
Yeah,
in the surf club. Yeah. Palmer's miscreants. Dear.
Yeah, it's going to be that, and then that was never mentioned again either.
No.
So, yeah, until the plot allows, is my answer. Now Tane's got a visitor, as he's he's giving a lesson. His cousin Kahu has followed him home from his honeymoon.
So romantic. Dear. You said I could pop in any time. Yeah, I didn't mean to, like the next day.
He can do it now, but couldn't do it for his funeral. Couldn't do it for the wedding.
No.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but being as though you came to me, I'll follow you home like a lost puppy. He seems like a live wire, though. What's your first impressions?
So far, I like him. So far, so good, because we've not seen much of him, have we? Really, we've just seen him turn up, give people hugs. He seems like a bit of a fun, positive kind of character. Give me a job, I'll do anything, I'll stick around. We don't know how long he's going to be around for. Bit of a kind of a hippie kind of guy, gets on a plane and turns up, has no plan of what he's going to do, how long he's staying even. He's just like, can I crash at your house? Oh, cool. He's one of them that makes a plan that morning for that day and not anything beyond that, I think.
Yeah, he's very cocksure of himself.
He is. Yeah, that's I've got my eye on that, because I'm thinking he could turn out to be an absolute pain in the arse.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he seems all right. What do you think?
And yeah, same. I know, so far so good, but there's something in the back of my mind there that's going, what's he running away from?
Yeah, it was a bit quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing he's doing here that he couldn't do at home. No. Like, what's the story here? Do you know what I mean? Is he after Flick? He's met Flick while they were on honeymoon. Is there something? Well, because the only reason I'm thinking is because Flick doesn't want him around. She's not happy about it right from the off. So I'm like, why does she not want him here? What's going on?
I think potentially, for the reasons that I'm worried that's going to happen, is that he could end up being a bit of a troublemaker. I've got because he's got that glint in his eye. I'm trying not to prejudge him, but I've got this underlying feeling that he could be a bit of a troublemaker, maybe a bit of a womanizer, bringing people back to her house in the middle of the night and having a party. I feel like he could be a bit of a liability, and she is as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So pot kettle black a little bit, but I think that she's thinking, we're married, we're settled down, we've got businesses. This guy is a bit of a liability. He could just do anything.
Yeah. See, I've picked up on the same thing, but I've drawn a different conclusion. I've drawn that Kahu is basically very similar to Flick. Even Tane's mentioned, you brought a band home, you like loud music, things like that. And I'm like, that's a bit of strange, a bit strange. And they've just been over there. Then is there something that's gone on? Has he tried to make a pass at Flick? And now he's turned up here, and she's thinking, get rid. She doesn't want him around. And I'm a bit dubious about. Something happened in New Zealand.
I hope not. You don't kiss your cousin's wife. That's not cool.
Well, we don't know what kind of bloke he is, do we yet?
And I'd like to think that she would tell Tane that.
Well, she should have done. But remember, we come round to Flick just wanting drama all the time.
Yeah.
So she probably, Flick's the kind of girl in my mind who would be like, "Oh, I'm going home now, never see him again," and then he's turned up, and now she's like, "Fuck's sake."
I think it's the fact that he probably is a bit like her, like you say, and she probably doesn't want two of them.
A reminder of the life she's lost.
Oh yeah, it could be that, but I think she likes to be the center of attention, doesn't he? I think she's a little bit selfish in this. She wants Tane to herself. Like she was saying, "Oh, I'm used to having you to myself. I don't want to share you." She's the wild one. She's the one that puts the music on and dances, in the middle of nowhere. And now this guy's turned up and he's a bit like her, and she's probably feeling a bit like, "Hey, that's my job. Yeah. I'm the wild one. I'm the live wire. This isn't your job to be like that." And now you're out of control. And I think even though she's out of control, she likes to be the one that's in control of the situation. And I think he's going to throw a curveball, and she's not going to like it because he's going to be the one putting the music on in the middle of the night. He's going to be one partying. He's going to be one dragging Tane off to bars or whatever. Not her. I think she's got a nose out for that. A nose out of joint. I don't know.
I think there's something else.
Do you? Oh, I'm not there.
Because she's got her brother there all the time. Like she's no.
Yeah, but Cash is boring. Cash doesn't do anything. Cash is boring. Cash wouldn't come home and put rap music on at 2 a.m. and bring a girl home and
not even drunk. Cash would do that.
No, he just wouldn't. Cash is very sensible, but Kahu is unpredictable, and I'm suggesting that based on what we've seen so far, I think he's probably going to be unpredictable. We've seen it before, haven't we? These kind of guys that turn up like him. I think it's I'm predicting it.
Well, we'll find out which one of us is right, eh?
Yeah. Right, now we're going to do something exciting. Are you ready, Si?
Oh, this has been weeks in the making. Yeah.
Literally a month in the making, I think, isn't it? So we are giving away a brilliant prize, actually. A signed photograph of Dean and Ziggy, which is signed by Sophie Dillman and Paddy O'Connor, when we met them in London a month ago. So this has been a competition that we've been running for about a month, hasn't it?
It has, live in the flesh. They signed it. We were there.
We were there. We've got the photo evidence to show you that they signed it, and we were there. So we're going to give this away. So this competition, it actually, the deadline was last weekend, wasn't it? But we're going to draw the winner on the pod today. So what I've done is I've taken everybody's name. That's because you had to email us the answer to a question. And what was the question, Si?
Dean and Ziggy recently gave birth to a beautiful baby daughter. What was her name?
That's right. So a bunch of you emailed us and you got the name right. So it's Isabella, isn't it? And Izzy for short.
Yeah.
We accepted all versions of Izzy, Isabella. We would have also accepted Gromit or Grometta, actually. Because technically the baby was called Grometta for a lot longer than she was called Izzy or Isabella. So we've took all your names. What I've done is I've gone to wheelofnames.com and I've entered all your names into the wheel, so that I'm going to spin it on the recording now.
Sophie, why am I nervous?
Nervous? You're feeling it. I'm going to spin the wheel. I feel like Michael McIntyre. The wheel. You don't watch that, do you?
No, we daren't make. Have you not? This is very topical, but we daren't make a comparison. Have you seen the wheel on this morning that Phil and Holly spin?
Are you comparing us?
No,
I'm offended.
Definitely not. Oh my god!
Especially not this week. Not offended. Let's skip over that quickly. Other wheels are available. Wheelofnames.com. So I put all your names in. I'm going to spin it now. And let's see what you're just creasing up in the background.
Yeah, you're desperately trying to move this on. Yeah.
I am. I try not to get drawn into the Scove chat because I've got opinions on that, but no one wants to hear them. No. Okay. So, oh god, this is awful. I've gone to wheelofnames.com. I've put in all of your names that got the question right, and I'm going to spin the wheel. I'm taking a recording of the spinning as well. So if anybody wants to see proof of who the winner is, we've got a recording of the spinner. We're not choosing this. This is a random generator, name generator that we use online. So you ready, Sykes? I'm going to spin the wheel, and you're probably going to hear some noise because it does make a kind of spinning noise, and then it claps when the winner's name is announced. So
special effects. Yeah.
I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear it. So here we go. Yeah. I'm going to press the button now. Ready?
Yeah.
Spinning.
Oh,
it's slowing down. Oh, and going to announce the winner now. Oh, it's Jacob.
Jacob,
you're the winner. We have a winner.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You have won the signed photograph of, Diggy.
Dean and Ziggy. Well done, Jacob. Well chuffed. Commiserations if you didn't make it. We give away quite a lot, so there'll be another one before long.
Yeah.
But that was a very amazing prize. I'm sure Jacob will love it. We will be in touch. We'll let you know. We'll email you this weekend, and we'll arrange to get that out to you, Jacob. Congratulations.
Well done.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.